every day. They're better looking than me. They're better looking than me. They've got a better life than me. They've got a nicer bum than me. They've got a better friends than me. Their food looks better than mine.
They've got more likes than I do. And
It's just constant.
It becomes the gamification of their entire life as well. There's competition for likes and retweets and all this sort of
Someone
stuff.
told me, explained this to me, I thought it was really good. They said young people now are trying to be the star in their own life movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I thought that really explains it. They're just acting a different version of themselves to be the star on their own phone to everybody else.
And it's very competitive. It's very competitive. I use social media. I know exactly what it's like to want to get more likes than someone else that there's no direct competition, but you find yourself falling into this sort
We
of...
are competitive creatures.
Exactly. And the whole thing is essentially a game that we're all playing all the time. And so, it's one thing for me, a 42-year-old man to be like, well, at least I can recognize that and separate myself from it. But if you're 15, how do you do that? I'm so glad it didn't exist when I was 15. Like, good God. But anyway, when asked, young people will say, yeah, it is social media that's to blame. I mean, this is a remarkable article from The Guardian in 2018. Again, before the COVID lockdowns, social media has poisoned us, says one young person. That's just such a brilliant way of framing it as well. Poison. It is a poison. It seeps into every aspect of your life and it makes you sick. There's no getting away from it other than simply putting the damn phone down.
If you're seeing posts that are saying, are you unhappy? Do you not like your body? Have you tried cutting?
Oh, God.
And then it's like, well, look at this post. Like 84,000 people have liked it. And it's that again. It's so we're not protecting our children from the bad men and the bad people of the world.
It's not even necessarily that as well that they're bad people on the other end of it. It's that they are people who don't know what they're going to affect.
They're also damaged.
Yeah, exactly. So, this person, like you say, gets 84,000 likes or something. But when they posted it, they didn't know that was going to happen. And so they were just, expressing frustration or something like this. And then suddenly that, got a lot of attention. And so now that looks like the cool thing to do. Like there are, forums that have like, for things that are really quite harmful, like anorexia, sort of fetishization forums almost, where there's lots of people who encourage each other on down this road. And you think it's the last place you want a young person to get trapped, because if you think you're going to get an unhealthy view of your body on Instagram, well, you can easily find yourself in these places, and there's nothing stopping anyone from just falling into them. So all you need is an internet browser.
Yeah,
so easy to get. But yeah, so this was a chap called Joe, who's 24, who says. And The Guardian want to frame this as well. Young people have got problems with student debt, and their mental health, their lack of housing, their loneliness. It's like, yeah, but okay, student debt maybe is a concern, but I don't think it's what's causing this tremendous loneliness and mental health crisis. And it's certainly not responsible for the lack of housing. What it is, according to Joe, is it's the whole generation has essentially, the whole text generation has taken a lot of character out of young people's communication and left them, a lot of them, strangers to themselves. The influence of social media has poisoned the generations that have only known that life as well, which I think is remarkable, from, again, a 24-year-old man. So this is someone who's undoubtedly been on social media for as long as they can really remember. Their entire life has been subsumed in this. And this is terrible. And I think the problems with mental health and loneliness particularly is a product of that, as we discussed. I think that's, these things are all a consequence of it. And so, I hate to say it, but I just don't think the young people should have social media.
They shouldn't, but then we also need to look at parents and government as well. Yeah. So what I've seen in young people is they hardly ever now grow up. There's not that moment where they're now a young adult. They're 23, they're still a child.
Yeah.
They're still living with mummy and daddy. They still don't make their own decisions. They're scared of the world. They're scared of everything because in their mid-teens, the parents carried on that nurturing when there should have been a break and said, you need to stand on your own 2 feet now. Still live here for the next couple of years, but eventually you need to get out and you need to make your own way in the world. That doesn't happen anymore. And then with the government is doing this all the time. It's for the whole population. We're pampering the whole population all the time. It's not your fault. What can we give you? What can the state do to make you happy? What can the state give you? Yeah. And it's like, Your state can't do anything for you. You need to do it for yourself. And we've just basically castrated the whole generation of young people that they can't do anything themselves anymore. That's a bit of a generalization, but
No, but
that's
I
most of
totally
them, yeah.
take it, and I don't think it's an inaccurate generalization. There are going to be people who don't fall into that category, obviously, and lucky them, frankly. And those people probably have fathers saying, "No, get up and do it yourself," because for a lot of people who don't have that, you're exactly right. All of the incentives are towards harm reduction, and I'm sorry, but sometimes you've got to scrape your knee. Sometimes you've got to have a failure. Sometimes you've got to have that slap in the face that tells you, "Look, you've got to be aware of your surroundings and take responsibility for the things you've done." And like you're saying, everything is incentivizing them to not take that responsibility now. It's like, sorry, that means you're going to have this extended adolescence in which you never mature into being an adult.
Yes.
And that's the problem. And that's you're miserable because you've got no purpose in life, because you've taken on no responsibilities and you have no friends, no family. You're on your own and you've got nowhere to go. No wonder you're depressed.
And if you don't turn into an adult, that means you'll always be a drain on someone else.
Yeah.
Because that's what children are.
Yeah. Well, I hate framing it that way. They are an obligation, but it is.
It's a drain you want to give to your children, but they're a drain
Yeah.
to your resources. But when you're an adult child, you're still a drain on society, on someone else. If you're not making your own way in the world, someone else is having to make your way for you.
Yeah.
And it's a drain.
And you've got an obligation there you're not filling up to
Yes.
fulfilling, and you should. But anyway, so that's why I think young people are terribly depressed, and I don't think it's going to get any better while you're still stuck on social media.